There you go.
Good.
Yep, I'm good.
Hey, Don, great to see you.
Great to see you, Paul.
How's things?
Really good, thanks.
Awesome. Really enjoyed meeting you last week.
Yeah, it was great.
How was the event? Did you get to meet anybody else?
I did. I met like 5 or 6 other people.
Great.
I think I made some good contacts there.
Excellent, excellent. So I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're really busy. Which we spoke last week, we said we had about 20 minutes for today. Is that still the case?
20 minutes is good.
Great. So all I want to do really today is find out, give you a quick overview of what it is that we do for business owners like yourself. Before I get into that, typically what I find is naturally going to want to know a little bit about me, my firm, the company that I work for, and
Sure.
kind of the process that I take people through. And obviously, if you're open to it, Don, I'd like to spend the majority of our time getting to know a little bit more about you and the things that are kind of on your mind, of where it is that you want to be, and certain things that we touch on as we go through the meeting. Is that fair?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, great. So I represent an agency. It's called the Greater New Jersey Financial Group, and we're a Prudential office. Have you heard of Prudential?
Of course.
Yeah, the Rock, right?
Who hasn't? Absolutely. Yeah.
So Prudential's been around for a long time, very highly rated, strong financial institution, and a lot of people know us for what we do on the insurance business. A lot of people know Prudential as an insurance company.
Absolutely.
What a lot of people don't know is not only do we do the insurance part of our business really well, we actually are one of the top 10 in global asset managers in the world. So when you think about global asset managers, your typical big companies that come to name are your BlackRocks, your Vanguard, your State Streets, Fidelities, and you've probably heard of these companies too,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
These are the really the top money managers, global asset managers in the world. And Prudential has currently about $1.4 trillion under management. We're number 9 in the world of global asset under management. Why do I tell you this? I just like people to know that not only we do the insurance side of our business really well as financial advisors and financial planners, but we do the investment side really well as also. The other thing that we do really well is we look down here, we do a lot of corporate plans. In fact, Prudential it has 23 of the largest 25 U.S. corporate plans. And that is deferred comp and different plans that we use for retirement planning. We have 17 of the 25 largest U.S. public plans. So not only do we do the insurance side well, we do the global asset management as well. We also do kind of the work side and the retirement planning through businesses and everything through that as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, one of the things that really has become pretty popular is what we call financial education, where we can help people and your employees of your company really get an insight of things that they should be doing, leveraging their benefits, or what they're doing on the outside as well. Any questions on this?
No.
Okay. So as we go through this, there's kind of the process and the cycle that we work through with our clients and our prospects starts over here. So if you look over here, this is a wheel of the way we interact with people. The first part is we establish financial goals. The second part is we understand your situation. Third is we benefit from a knowledgeable analysis. We actually analyze everything that we talk about. We review and discuss strategies as we go through it, and then we implement solutions for the guidance of what it is that we want to create. And then after that, what we do is we have a review process, because things always change. If you notice the way markets have been just lately, or even in your own life, with your businesses, things change as you go through it. Maybe your children want to go to school, or maybe retirement planning becomes top of mind and pertinent as you go through it. It's important that we have a review process as we go through that. Any questions on this?
No, that seems like it's an intelligent process.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
So where we really like to spend the time, and where I really want to spend the majority of today's meeting, again, if you're open to it, is finding out a little bit about you. And if you notice here, Don, we have what we call the cornerstones of financial planning. And within these cornerstones, we can really talk about anything in the scope of somebody's financial plan. And typically, most people have similar concerns. And those similar concerns are around what we call future concerns. And those, the first concern most people have in the future is around retirement.
Sure.
So when we talk about retirement, we talk about what is it that I should be saving, what are the tax implications on it. A lot of the focus over the last 20 years was kind of getting up the mountain in what we save, but nobody's really talking about how we get back down the mountain in terms of taking income out.
Right.
And the switch has really become is how do we guarantee income and create income for the rest of our lives. People are living longer and retiring for longer times.
I can tell you we're going to want to talk about that.
Great. So that's one of the common concerns people have for the future. next common concern that people have in the future is education funding. You may have children, grandchildren, whatever the case may be, but education funding has become an epidemic. And the reason it's become an epidemic is the cost of inflation for education increasing is around 7 to 8%, depending on the institution, every single year. The cost of inflation for people on an average cost of inflation is less than 3.
Right.
So when you look at what you actually have to earn, or the money that you save for your children, grandchildren's education, the rate of return that you have to get out there is so high just to keep pace with the cost of inflation.
Yeah, it's really outpacing regular inflation.
It is, and then you know, loans come into effect, and our children are graduating with more and more loans, coming out with more and more debt as we go through. So we help people with concerns around education. The next future concern that most people have is around savings. How much should we have in savings? Yeah, exactly, right? Well, I don't know the last time you were at the bank, right? But the bank account today pays you what?
Less than 2.
Yeah, if you're lucky, right?
Yeah.
Most money markets are, you know, and savings are less than 1%. You know? So we look at ways to save and still make your money work. We look at creating what we call a kind of a rainy day fund, an emergency fund for you, to be able to say what's right, how much should I have, where should I be investing it, and still make that money, but still have access to it. The next common concern that most people have is around protection planning. Now, protection planning is the insurance side of my financial planning practice. Now, protection planning is really designed to eliminate failure in your overall financial plan. We could have the best mutual funds, the best performing stocks, the best performing everything. If we get sick or hurt and can't go to work or we die prematurely, there's no way that you're going to fulfill your goals of your retirement planning or your education funding.
Right.
So what protection planning does, it's risk management for you to be able to move the risk of always self-completing your plan, whether it's retirement planning or just saving for another asset or whatever the case may be.
I never thought of it like that.
The next common concern people have, a future concern, is around estate planning. And there's been a lot of changes around estate limits. In estate limits, you look at federal and at the state level. But basically, it's the best way for you to pass on to generation, where you kind of avoiding some taxes on some things and making it more efficient and effective. Naming correct beneficiaries, correct ownership of title and property, and so on and so forth.
I keep telling our kids we're spending their inheritance.
Yeah, no doubt. Most people are. So, and then the last one, the last kind of future concern that people have is around taxes. I don't do taxes as such as a tax planner, but we do tax planning in terms of what's best for you to pay taxes now, pay taxes later, or pay no taxes at all, right? So
how do you make that?
Yeah, exactly. There are some things out there that you can actually take out tax-free. So we look at a tax strategy that is really designed to lift the erosion of taxes on your wealth as you build it going forward as well. And especially when you get to pulling money out, what are the tax implications on that as well?
Right.
So within all of these things, if you look at this, these really fall into the 4 cornerstones of what it is that we do. Now, I mentioned to you these are future concerns. So if you're open to it, what I'd like to do is find out where you are from a baseline perspective. If you're like most people, you probably have some stuff that you have through work, which we call group. Right? So I don't know if you run anything through the company, but you probably have something for your employees or for yourself, some kind of group retirement plan. Typically it's a 401k, or it could be SAP or a simple.
I do have a 401k.
Okay. Who runs your 401k, Don?
I'm not even sure I know.
Okay. How many employees do you have?
10.
10. How many of them contribute?
Now, actually, of the 10 employees, I say I have 10 employees. I really only have 1. The others are sort of independent people who work for me. So, and that one person is in it.
Okay. Are you in it?
I am.
Okay. How much do you contribute to your 401k?
It's about $500 a month.
500 a month?
Yeah.
What do you think your approximate balance is inside of it?
I think there's about 50 grand in there.
50,000. If you're like most people, you probably have some kind of group medical plan. Do you have your health insurance through work?
Yes.
Who do you use for your medical coverage?
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Yeah.
How long have you been with those?
Forever.
Forever?
Yeah.
Good coverage, right?
Yeah.
You know what kind of plan you have?
It's a PPO, I think.
Okay. What do you pay monthly for that?
Too much.
Too much?
I think more than I'm contributing. I think it's like 600 a month we're
Okay.
paying for that.
And do you contribute for your employees also?
Yes.
What percentage do you contribute for your employees?
60%.
Okay, good. If you're like most people, through your company, you probably have some kind of group life insurance. Typically, you do 1 or 2 times salary.
It's 2 times.
2 times?
2 times, yeah.
And you have that for you and your one employee that's ahead?
Yes.
How much coverage do you have?
I've got 400,000.
400,000?
Yeah.
Okay. How about group disability? Have any group disability insurance?
No.
No? How about group long-term care? Do you have any group long-term care?
No.
What about a pension? Do your company run a pension?
Well, we've got the 401k and that's it.
Okay. Great. So those are things that we talk about through a group stage and what you have through work. Now, you know, today's different than it was 30 years ago, right? People would work for the same company for 30 plus years and then retire successfully, and really that group stuff is what they had. But things change. Pensions have become less. There's less people putting money away because of everyday living expenses. So on the group side, most people now have to do things outside of their job, and we call that individual planning. So kind of from a baseline perspective, again, if you're open to it, I'd like you to share with me, but if you're like most people, you probably have some individual life insurance outside of your group. Do you have any individual life insurance?
Nope.
Okay. How about individual disability insurance?
Nope.
How about individual long-term care?
Nope.
Any brokerage accounts?
No.
Okay. What about savings accounts, bank accounts, checkings and savings?
Of course, you've got, well, we have a savings account, there's not much in it. We've got a checking account, they're both at TD Bank.
Okay. How about any college education funding for the children,
No,
grandchildren?
my last child just graduated, so
Okay.
we're done with that.
Okay, good. Anything else on an individual side that you feel that I may have missed there?
I don't think so, I think
Okay.
that's it.
Then that's the second component of what we look at from a baseline perspective. And then the third component is really the legal component. Don, do you have wills for you and your family?
Yes.
How about trusts?
No.
Powers of attorney?
Yes.
And how about guardianship for the children? Oh, your last child's done, right?
Right.
So did you have guardianship set up while they were minors?
We did.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you did a nice job with the legal side.
Yeah.
Okay, so this really, you know, if we look at this, Don, this is kind of where we concentrate in the areas of the 4 cornerstones. And this is really where we look to in a baseline perspective.
I got to
So
tell you,
what-
I don't think I've ever tried to organize this all at once.
Great.
To look at it all.
Okay,
This is a
so
great-
this is helpful?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what we try to do now is we try to take where you are from a baseline perspective and find out where you want to be in the future on all of these things, okay?
Right.
Typically, the way these meetings, kind of the process turns out is one of three ways. First way is based on how I answered your questions. You're just going to determine that we're not a good fit and we're not going to work together. The second way is based on how you answered my questions. I'm going to tell you that you've got everything under control and anything you would do would just muddy the waters. And the third way is really there's room for value in the process and room for growth. What I really want to make sure is that it's okay for us to say no to each other. Is that good?
Absolutely.
Okay.
No.
Well, there you go. So let me ask you a question. Based on what you see here, I'm putting it all down here, would you say this is a good kind of snapshot of where you are financially or from a baseline
I
perspective?
think it is.
Okay, so from where you sit, Don, what kind of things, what's the first thing that jumps out at you?
Well, I know the thing that I'm most concerned about is retirement.
Retirement.
Yeah.
So the first one is retirement.
And I hadn't really thought about protection the way you described it before. I think that's something
Okay.
I need to look at.
Let's just stay on retirement if you don't mind, because that's the first thing that dropped out.
Sure.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about retirement.
Well, the way we've lived our lifestyle, we've had 4 kids going through college, lots of expenses there on us. We tried to help them to the point where they didn't have to graduate with too much debt, although they all have some. So we spent a lot of money on that, and our lifestyle has been such that we made a lot of money, but we spent a lot of money,
Okay.
and we don't have a lot of money put away.
Okay.
And I'm concerned about that. I'm 60 years old now.
How long do you think you've had those thoughts of being concerned about it?
It seems like a long time.
Okay.
It seems like a long time. You know, it's one of those things where retirement was always out there someplace.
Yeah.
And
Think
now-
more than 2 years?
Oh, it's more than 2 years now. Oh, thinking about it for more?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely thinking about it for probably 5 years.
Okay. So you've been thinking about it for 5 years. You think you could go another 5 years without doing something about it?
No. No, I think this is something that, obviously, I would have been better off addressing it 5 years ago.
What's causing you to kind of address it now?
I can see it.
Yeah,
There it is.
getting closer.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think the cost is going to be to kind of do something with this?
And when you say the cost, what do you mean? I'm not sure I know what you mean.
What do you think it's going to cost you going forward to try and fix something or retire or do
I
something?
really don't know.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons I want to talk to you.
Okay. But if you didn't do anything, what do you think the consequence would be for you and your family?
My wife and I would be working most of the rest of our lives, probably.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the second thing you said you jumped out of you was
Protection.
protection. Tell me a little bit more.
When you mentioned that, you know, it's looking at all that we have, our answer to how to protect what we have is just to keep doing more of what we're doing. And, but if something happens to one of us and income from one of us is diminished or ceases, we're not gonna be in a good place.
Okay.
So I want to be able to protect that. I guess that means either disability, but certainly, I'm looking at what I have in life insurance. I don't think that's enough.
Okay.
So,
How long do you think have you been thinking about this?
about, since we sat down.
Okay, so it's a recent thing?
Yes.
Okay, and that's the cause, obviously, you started thinking about it?
Yes.
Okay, what do you think the cost will be if you, to kind of look at that kind of thing?
I don't know what insurance costs.
Okay.
I mean, the only insurance I have is for my business. I don't know what it's like to do it privately.
And what do you think the consequence will be if you didn't do anything?
Do I have to think about that? I don't want to think about that.
Well, let us think about that for you, how about that?
There you go.
Okay, good. Anything else jump out at you?
Those are the big ones.
Okay, so if, the way I engage and the way we work with our clients really are 3 different ways. The first way is we can do a full financial planning engagement where we kind of charge a fee, an ongoing fee for advice and implementing the plans we go forward. The second way is through wealth management where we charge a percentage of your assets that we can do. Obviously, we'll decide which is the best way we can go. And thirdly, the most common way, and what we're really talking about in this situation, is based on a needs analysis. So it's basically what's sticking out at you and kind of jumping out at you right now, and in this case it's retirement protection based on those needs. The thing that I want to make sure that we do is I want to make sure we get all the information, although we're going to look at these from kind of a microeconomic approach. I want to look macro at your whole situation and make sure that nothing's kind of bumping heads on the other stuff that we do, right?
Okay.
So as I'm kind of putting in ideas for this, would you be able to pull statements for everything that we talked about over here and get those to me?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, great.